Welcome to Beyond Referrals, the podcast exploring how trust, growth, and client relationships in financial services are evolving in the digital and AI age. I'm your host, Emily Armstrong. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond Referrals. So happy that you're here. And this conversation will not disappoint. I had my new friend here, Dave Resseguie, who is the founder and chief shepherd of the Resseguie Group. And this was such a great conversation. If you don't know Dave and his work, you're going to want to follow him after you listen to this podcast. But Dave works with Fortune 100, 500, and Fortune 1000 companies all across the country, delivering keynotes, large group training programs, and coaching. He's a featured contributor on Forbes, and he knows a lot about financial advisors and this industry. And I just love this conversation. We talked about a lot of things. Here are some highlights and things you can expect. So he frequently hears from advisors who he's worked with years and years ago that I'm here because of you, Dave. You helped me be successful. And we talked about the definition of success because one of Dave's core principles is helping advisors achieve early productivity success. So he defined success as John Wooden's definition of success, and I loved it. I'm going to read it to you. Success is peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. So that's what I'm going to work on memorizing because it's really so good. We talked about the mindset, disciplines, and the ingredients of how to achieve early success. And this conversation was honestly such a good reminder that let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to the basics of the work ethic, the activities, the things you should be doing. And this is going to be like a mini masterclass on what those basic fundamental things are. We talked about how to identify the right advisor candidates, how to influence comfortability with candidates and prospects, how to build trust digitally, and why advisors are having a harder time achieving that early success window because the runway is actually shorter thanks to our friend technology. And we talk about what to do about it, how to get more and better clients, how to go back to the basics while building trust digitally. It was so good, you guys. You're going to want to get your notepad out and take some notes to this one. For this one, if you're an advisor or a managing partner or a managing director or someone in leadership helping advisors be successful, this is going to be a fantastic conversation. So here is my conversation with my friend, Dave Resseguie. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond Referrals. I am so excited for today's guest and today's conversation. Today's guest came to me through an amazing person who I had on this show, Kurt Kersey. Go listen to his episode if you have not yet. But I have Dave Resseguie with me here today. He is the founder and chief shepherd of the Resseguie Group. And if that title does not immediately tell you something about who this man is, I think you'll understand after this conversation. Dave spent 10 years in leadership roles inside of both Northwestern Mutual and Mass Mutual agencies across the country in Chicago, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami, specializing in coaching leadership teams and top-performing financial advisors. In 2011, he started building something on the side, and in 2017, he went all in and made the Resseguie Group what it is today. So today, Dave works with leaders from some of the most successful Fortune 100, 500, and 1000 companies in the country, delivering keynotes, large group training programs, and one-on-one coaching. He's a featured contributor on Forbes and the founder of The Industry, which he is building to become the premier digitally delivered training platform for financial services. So this is going to be such a fantastic episode. His mission is so simple, yet so specific. Teach the habits and disciplines that drive early productivity and high retention. And his vision is even better than that. Be blessed so that you can be a blessing to others. Dave, welcome to Beyond Referrals. I'm so thrilled you're here.
Emily, thanks for the invite. I'm so grateful that Kurt connected us, and I'm excited for the conversation.
How do you and Kurt know each other? How do you guys go back?
He cold called me through LinkedIn years ago, but built such an immediate rapport because he talked about my faith. And it was when he was building his marketing firm. And at that point, I didn't even have the Resseguie Group brand. I didn't have a website. I really didn't have a brand strategy. And he and his team did so much to impress me with their thoughtfulness that I hired him to help me build our logo, our website. From that, we developed a friendship and have just been supporters of each other since then.
I love that. Yeah, when I always ask, at the end of my podcast, who should I have on the show? And, like, without a doubt, with no hesitation, he's like, "Dave Resseguie." And
Cool.
so, yeah, he spoke very highly of you, and it's been fun to get to know you a bit, but I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better, and I know that you're incredible at what you do. You're a man of very high character, and so I'm excited for what I'm gonna learn from you today, Dave. So, for
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know you and your work, will you take us through your story and what you're doing today at the Resseguie Group?
Yeah, so I'll start with what we're doing today, and we could always fill in some gaps of how I got here. So I really do three things, and I only try to do two of them. So I do one-on-one coaching, but I don't prospect for one-on-one clients. So I'm not trying to build a coaching business. Right now, I have like 9 financial advisors, and there's one person that's not in advising that I coach. It's every 2 weeks. We spend an hour together. It's usually they reach out to me if they found anything about me that's helpful for them. They ask me if I'm willing to coach them, and if it's a fit, we work together. And usually they just want somebody that has zero bias for what they do and how they do it. They kind of just want a tax deductible therapist, is my experience, and some accountability. So those relationships are very special for me, and I never wanted to stop doing that, but I don't aggressively pursue building it. Where I spend my time, I do in-person speaking engagements. There used to be a day where I would do 48 of those a year, and I was on the road every week for 2 hotel nights a week max. That was a rhythm that worked for us. I have scaled that back. Last year, I said I wanted to do no more than 24. I did 27. This year, I said I'm not doing more than 24. We're going to do 22. I'm not taking any more this year. We're already booking next year, and I don't want to do more than 12 next year. I think I'll give myself a little grace if it's the right opportunity, but like 15 is like the max. So, but I do that, and I love the in-person meetings. Most of my time and energy is around what I'll refer to as like multi-firm, large group, company exclusive sales training programs. As an example, I'll do a 12-week training program, so 1 hour a week for 12 consecutive weeks, and I'll do that 4 times a year. So a team will have access to me for an entire year, or they might choose to do like a spring and a fall series and do two of those 12-week programs, but it will be multiple firms within this company. So there's never cross pollination of companies. And I'm teaching those sessions live, and it's all around the basics. It is prospecting, phoning, fact finding, so that brand new advisors to our space, whether it be college interns, graduates that start full time, career changers, inexperienced advisors, they can really build a foundation of what will turn into an unbelievable practice. So, and I'm just passionate about that. I think so many people that do similar to what I do start there, and then it's a stepping stone for something else. And that's fine. I love working with new advisors and having those light bulb moments come on for them where they get it and they're like, wow, I can really use this career to achieve my dream. So that's how we work right now.
What do you love the most about that group of people, like new advisors coming into this career?
Yeah, so they're all sold in this dream of what this type of career can do for them. And they have so much hope and optimism when they start of what's possible. And they come in because number one, they want to make an impact in people's lives, and they love the income potential, and they love the independence, and they love the intellectual growth that they can have, right? Like the 4 eyes. But what I love the most is I can see them 7 years from now. Like I know who they can become if they have a vision and they're willing to put in the work and take action on really simple things. So like when I see them 7 years from now and they finally got their first check for 6 figures or whatever
Mhm.
it is. Like I got a text from a brand new advisor that this week that said, "Hey, dude, I finally got my first check that was $10,000 or more." And that was like a big dream for them, and it finally became a reality. So the conversations years down the road where they come up to me and they say, "Dude, you don't even remember working with me." And I say, "No, I do." And
Yeah.
they said, in a large part, I'm here because of you, because of what you
Mm.
did for me early on in my career." That's what lights me up more than anything else.
So, so cool. I love working with advisors as well because they're some of the most hardworking, just like impact driven people. And so that must be so rewarding for you at such a large scale to be able to come in and help a lot of them and work with them ongoing and see what they're doing. And your work is so needed in the field. I mean, you know that. You're busy, obviously. So anyone listening who wants to book Dave as a speaker, you better reach out ASAP. What I was going to ask you is how would you say your approach or your flavor is different than what like a home office or just a top down might provide?
It's cool for me because, like, I feel like a celebrity today because this is my second podcast interview, and the
Yes.
host that I talked with earlier asked me the same question, and I said, "You know what? I think part of the reason that what I do is special is because it's not all that different." I really there's a saying that a prophet often has no honor in their own country, right? That's a religious saying. Jesus actually was the
Yes.
person that said that,
I was like,
and
I recognize that one.
yeah, right, but it's I am reinforcing the same message that all these people, whether it be a home office executive or a managing partner or a chief development officer or a field leader, it's the same thing that they're teaching. But when I say it, I'm not in their firm. I don't get overrides on their production. I don't see them every single day. So sometimes when they hear it from me, it resonates a little bit differently. Now, what I would say is there is some nuance to how I teach the things that I teach. I mean, there's very specific strategies that I share that I believe influence a lot more comfortability in the planning process. And it does improve and increase people's effectiveness. So there is something to be said of, yeah, there's some specific tactic, but I'm reinforcing, I'm sharing a similar message. There's nothing new under the sun. Like this, it's the fundamentals that create success.
Yeah, there's no silver bullet of success. It's really the fundamentals. So there's a question coming through my mind right now. So your work focuses mainly on early productivity success and therefore that's what creates retention, right? And a lot of everyone's motivated and incentivized to do that. Advisors themselves are incentivized to do that as well as their leaders. And so it's really helping everyone win in that space. So from your experience and your philosophy, how much of that outcome of early success is mindset? How much of it is just straight up discipline and activity? It's a mix of both. Like, can you give us the ingredients that make up someone being successful just right out the gates and maybe define what early success looks like?
Yeah, so I want to start with that, like
Yeah.
defining early success. Like I tell brand new advisors when I work with them that I have one goal for us in our work together. Like, and this is in large group settings. I have one goal and one goal only. And that goal is that if you want to be here a year from now, because you love this business and you want to continue building a financial planning practice, if you want to be here, you can be because you've created consistent cash flow and you've built a business that's sustainable. You're making money. You're not only just surviving, but you're thriving. And that could be at different levels. And I say, so I want you to be successful, but let's be clear on what I mean by success. And I share with them John Wooden's definition of success, which is my favorite. John Wooden was the men's basketball coach at UCLA. And Coach Wooden had said that success is peace of mind that is the direct result of self satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. And I love that because
Can you
that's
just repeat that one more time?
absolutely. So,
Okay.
and if you ask Claude or chat, what does Wooden say about his definition of success? You'll find it too. So
Yeah.
it's success is peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. That's a you versus you thing. Success in many ways is how do you define what success means for you? Because I know advisors, and these are great advisors. There are some advisors that say success for me is building a practice that I can exit for 8 figures. And success for other advisors is, Dave, I want to make $250,000 and I want to not work on Fridays because I want to spend every Friday on a baseball field coaching inner city at risk youth. So success isn't always measured by income or by car or house or status or any of that. It can be if that's how you measure it. So understanding how you view what success would be for you uniquely in this career is very important. Then, yeah, I mean, there's no substitute for hard work. Like I can remember sitting down with a top 10 advisor in a company, and we were in South Florida, and I asked this individual, I said, if you were given advice to a brand new advisor about, like, if you could only give them one piece of advice, what would you tell them? And I had to preface it with, other than do the activity, other than get referrals, schedule appointments, and keep meetings, because that is it early on. Like, I hate saying it's an activity business, but it's an activity business. You got to do the activity. And I'm going to get on a little soapbox, Emily, for a second. There are
Please.
so many executives and leaders in our space right now that feel like the way that we're going to solve this retention issue in the insurance and investment space with these large companies is let's recruit to teams and let's have people charge a fee for financial guidance and become a wealth manager, and then they'll stay open for business. And all that is true. When you join a team, there's a good likelihood of success. I do believe clients expect an advisor to charge them a fee just for advice. So I encourage people, charge a fee for your advice, get licensed to do that. I do believe he or she who manages the money manages the relationship. So you should grow a wealth management practice. I also believe we've got to insure against the things that can go wrong in life to have the luxury of investing for the things that can go right. So you got to focus on risk management as well. And you're not a true fiduciary if you don't. That said, though, all these leaders think that if we just get people charging a fee and join a team, that they'll be okay. And we're making soft advisors. We are making people that don't have the resiliency and the work ethic to go frickin' do what we do in our business. And I'm ashamed of it. And I think they're going to regret it in 5 years. I see some companies right now that are not investing at all, or they challenge like, oh, should we really spend any money on training around these things? And I'm like, well, if you're not going to spend money on it, I think I kind of see the handwriting on the wall of where you're going to be in 5 years. And
You
it's
won't
not,
have any advisors.
well, you're going to sell your company to a company that gives you a big check, and then your
Yeah.
advisors are going to leave to go wherever they're going to go. So that's a little bit of a soapbox because, like, in the last couple of months, I've been seeing just some people that I'm like, man, that's not the right approach. Because if they join a team and don't know how to prospect and get really good referrals, and if they don't leverage somebody like you, because the work that you do is equally, if not more so, impactful because you're teaching people in an exceptional way how to build your brand and market in a way so that prospective clients have a higher likelihood of engaging with you because they've been able to experience you before the first meeting, right? Those go hand in hand. You've got to have the social capital and credibility to influence people even coming to you. You also need to proactively build a business because your phone your phone is not going to ring off the hook with people calling to reach out for your service. You've got to constantly, it's a prospecting and promotion business, and that is not going away. So for any executive listen to this call right now, that is not going away. And if you resonate with that, I'm for you. And if you feel differently, don't call me because it is not a good use of my time to spend time with you.
I love that soapbox that you just went on, and I'm kind of curious, what's your prediction about why that's happening? And is it a just I'll just stop there. Tell me.
I think so much of it is pure hearted and good because there are so many advisors that are going to be exiting this space because of retirement. So there's so much opportunity right now for a succession plan. So teaming makes all the sense in the world. And teaming does make
Right.
sense. I'm not saying
Right.
that's ensembling. That's
Yeah.
a great approach.
Mhm.
I think the reason that they feel we should pursue a different path is because most retention numbers in our business are so low, like maybe single digit 5-year retention or low double digit, like 10 to 15% if they're lucky. Now, there are some leaders in our industry that their organization, they retain half the people for 5 years because they're culturally so strong. Like I'm thinking of one person, I won't mention their name. I have no connection with them other than we know who each other is. They're here in the Southeast. Their retention is probably the best in our entire industry because of how they've built their engine. And it's a selection and an attraction opportunity. But I think that they see retention so low that they feel, I could be wrong. This is just my observation. I might be right. I might not be. They feel like advisors today, it's different how we go do business. The things that worked for the top advisors of old 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, that's not how people work today. It is how it works today. I mean, you talk
Yeah.
with your top advisors in your organization. You talk with an Alan Meltzer at Mass Mutual. You talk with a Keith Wagner at Northwestern Mutual. You talk with you name it at Guardian or Penn or One America or National Life or you name the company. You talk with the top of the top people. They're going to tell you it's activity, it's getting introductions, it's phoning, it's overcoming objections, it's meeting great people, it's fundamental fact finding, it's seeking to understand and then be understood, it's mastering the art of those conversation pieces to win the relationship. It's resiliency, it's the ability to get back up one more time than you've been knocked down. Those things have not changed. We've become soft. And I'm kind of sad for so many places. Now, to that point, there are many organizations still that are doing it well, that are like, yep, that is what we need to create. So, yeah, thanks for letting me kind of just vent there a little
Yeah.
bit.
I love a soapbox. Anytime anyone wants to get on a soapbox on my podcast, you're welcome to. And I've spoken with a lot. I mean, you've spoken with more MDs and MPs than I have, but in my conversations with people in that seat, I've observed some interesting things. And so I became an advisor in 2019. And this was like just a few wee months before COVID. So I kind of went through that was my entrance into this industry from like a cushy tech industry. So I've seen some unique things, but recently in conversations with like a managing director I'm thinking of, he told me, how did he say it? He said the runway to success used to be about a year long. So if an advisor could make it a year, and this was even when I was in the business 7 years ago, that's kind of a long time, but not that long. So he told me the runway to success used to be about a year. And if someone could make it a year, like that was really strong and they were good. He said, Emily, that runway to success now is 1 to 2 months.
Yeah.
And I almost couldn't believe that. I almost was like, oh my gosh. And I think that's evidence of to what you're saying, and probably some other things too. There's a lot that could be contributing to that. But in your experience, has retention gotten harder in the last, let's call it 5 to 7 years?
It's definitely gotten worse.
Yeah.
Everybody says that they want to fix it and get better, but I don't know what LIMRA statistics would be, but I believe it probably has come down across the board. I do
Yeah.
think that there are certain organizations within distribution systems that their firm has improved dramatically, but across the industry, yeah, it's been worse.
Yeah. I think that's probably a mix of what you're saying, like the emphasis still needs to be on the basics and it needs to be super strong culture. So it's like basics of activity, very strong culture that attracts and retains the kind of person who is attracted to excelling, being their best. That definition of success that you just gave, like someone who truly wants that. And
Yeah.
then what I would say is the ingredient where I'm really focusing on, like to your point where you alluded earlier, is the digitization of things and how much that's changed even in the past 5 years of like you need all of those things, I think. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any more comments on that?
Give it just a quick one. Like I can remember back in the day when I used to interview candidates, which I haven't done in a long time, but one of my favorite questions, and I think this is a perfect question for 2026, is I would ask a candidate, let's say I gave 3 options of how you'd get compensated. You know, option 1 is we'll give you $100,000 salary, no bonuses, but you're guaranteed 100. Option 2 would be we'll give you 60, and with incentives, you have the ability to make 150. And option 3 would be you're not going to make any guaranteed income. It's zero. but you have the ability to do $300,000. Which would you select? Now, forget about the specific numbers that I use. Point being, large salary, okay salary, but fair incentive, or 100% driven by what you're willing to do. Well, which candidate do I want? I want the one that is 100% driven to create for themselves anything that they want to go create. And they are willing to take the risk of failing because they see the joy and fulfillment and satisfaction of creating something amazing. That is still what our industry needs. It is that advisor that is still going to thrive. And many people in our industry are like, yeah, that person in the middle is really where we have better retention. Not saying that somebody that would want that option of income is soft, but that's not a lead advisor that's entrepreneurial in nature. And we need people that are entrepreneurial in nature. And I don't think the world has changed. There are 19-year-olds at Clemson that have that go-getter mindset, and that's who you got to go find. So you got to source enough to be selective. And that's where our industry's failing. We're not recruiting enough people, and we're not recruiting the right people.
You're giving me a light bulb now because, I had a friend on the podcast a few weeks ago. Do you know McCall Fenn?
I think
Growth Suite Consulting.
the
They're
name
like,
is very familiar. I've heard of that company. Yes.
well, I'll connect you guys, but they're all recruiting. But we talked about the retention trend and what we're speaking about on my episode with her. And she was like, you have to remember that you're recruiting into being a business owner.
Yes.
And those numbers are going to look different than recruiting into a team. And I was like, oh, yeah, duh. And I really appreciate what you are saying about, okay, it's not a problem with the model because yeah, the retention looks a certain way because this is this opportunity. I think the more honest people can be about that and only attract and recruit for that, the more successful everyone's going to be.
Absolutely. The name of that company is so familiar because I was just on Long Island with a client and they contract with that firm to do some sourcing for them. Heard that they are absolutely phenomenal. So I'd love that connection. Yeah, I think people fear, I think whether it be leaders that are attracting talent, we fear like I need to hit a number of people that I'm going to recruit. And if I really only pick the people that are comfortable with like zero and the go-getter, I might not get. Well, you just need to talk with more people then. And how many people could you interview in your town that could be candidates? So it's an activity-driven business on the selection front as well.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's the same thing, both sides. So talk to me about kind of the successful strategies when it comes to things like prospecting and promotion. And if there's any nuggets there that you want to dive into about your approach and some like if an advisor is listening and taking notes from Dave Resseguie and they don't have the privilege of like training with you for that MP brought you in, what would you tell them? Give us like a mini masterclass on those
Yeah.
strategies.
Love it.
I'd love to hear that from you.
Yeah. So thematically, it's all about influencing comfortability. Okay. So, like, let's just say that I'm here in Greenville. At home for me is in Greenville, South Carolina. So, we moved up here 3 years ago. Hypothetically, let's say I want to get referred to attorneys that are here in Greenville who went to Clemson. Uh, I could cold call any attorney here in town because I own and operate a business that I makes a big impact and I think it could be really valuable for them. And if I choose to cold call, I'll get some result. I just got to put in a lot of effort to get minimal result, but you will get result. There are plenty of advisors that have done well that way. Personally, I made a decision that I never want to have to cold call. I would choose to if I desired to. Better than that would be I could warm call. A warm call would be they don't know me and I don't know them, but there's some commonality. Maybe we're both New York Mets fans, so we're upstate New Yorkers that relocated to the upstate of South Carolina, and there's plenty of us here. That
Instant in.
instant in for sure, right? Better than that is getting a favorable introduction or a referral or a qualified suspect. So, like, let's say that Sarah is an attorney in downtown Greenville. If I meet with Emily and Emily is a fan of mine, a center of influence, like you know me, you like me, you respect me, you value me at a human level, you value the work that I do to serve other people. If I know that you're connected to Sarah, if I have an introduction, it takes a lot of courage to ask people for an introduction. But if I say, hey, Emily, I saw that you're connected with Sarah on LinkedIn. Hey, I'd love an opportunity to reach out because I love working with attorneys that went to Clemson that are here in the area. If I can call Sarah and say, hey, Sarah, this is Dave Resseguie. I'm friends with Emily. How are you doing? That's going to be a lot more comfortable of a phone call. But there's one step better, and this is common sense. Just common sense isn't always common practice.
Right.
Brendan Burchard said that, and I love it. So the first impression I want that attorney to have of me, the first impression I want Sarah to have is not me reaching out to her asking for a meeting. It's you, the person who she knows, reaching out and giving her the heads up that I exist and that you found value in what I do. And you just think that the two of us would enjoy meeting. So getting a center of influence to tee you up and proactively open up that door of introduction. So it would be me saying, hey, Emily, what I find is Sarah and anybody else that you ever connect me to, they're typically going to be a lot more receptive to my phone call when they actually hear ahead of time from you that we do know each other and that you think we'd find value in a conversation. But Emily, what I also find is like anybody that's ever willing to introduce me to people, they don't necessarily know what to tell people about me or why they're making the connection. Cause like you don't know if Sarah even needs any of the work that I do. So there's a note that a lot of our clients will use to connect us. Hey, I just shot it to you. Did you get it? And then I'll send you an example of a note. And the note could say, yeah, hey, Sarah, hope you're awesome. Hey, thought of you today. Wanted to connect with Dave Resseguie. Dave's a local professional with XYZ company here in Greenville. Encourage him to call you. I just think the two of you'd benefit from meeting. And hey, I assume you probably have awesome relationships with people in the financial arena. You probably already done some awesome financial planning. But that said, I mean, Dave shared some ideas that I think you'd find to be pretty interesting and relevant. So I've copied him on this message. Clearly no obligation on your part to meet. I just think you'd find value in it. I'll leave it to the two of you to connect from here. Now that I share all that, it doesn't ever have to be that long of a message, but that's just people can pick and choose from.
Vibes. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
so
vibe.
simple. Yeah.
It's just saying, hey, hands off. I just thought the two of you should know each other. Ball in your court. Do with it what you want. So, and like Emily, that's what I do today when I build my business. I reached out to one of the top advisors in Greenville this week, who's a very good friend of mine, and I'd asked them to introduce me to a CEO of a local bank here in town. And I know this CEO. I sit in the same area as they do at Furman basketball games. Like, I really would love the interaction. But if I reach out, it's probably going to be less well received than if my friend reaches out and says, hey, you two need to know each other.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
influencing comfort. I want to be comfortable. I want the referral to be comfortable. And that's like the most basic of basic. That is like what, to your point, when you said that you were talking with that leader and they said it's now like a 1 to 2 month, I was going to say 60 days if you would have asked me.
Sure. Okay.
60 days. Because you got to get introductions, you got to book appointments, you got to keep first meetings, and pretty quickly, do I have the ability to do that? So, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, I love it. So I hope everyone just took some notes. That is so, so good. So something that I would love to open up, like some of my thinking and my
Yeah,
philosophy, and I've shared
absolutely.
this with you before.
Yeah.
And I invite your take on some of the things I'm noticing and I'm helping advisors build towards. So I think in today's world, so what we're talking about earlier is the same, but it's different. So what I see as the same is you still need to put in a lot of work to build a business that works. It's still a relationship business. So what you're saying about building trust, getting someone who likes you and trusts you to help facilitate introductions, that is still absolutely the best way to go about getting new introductions. I see a lot of mistakes being made where they like an advisor tries to like outsource or digitize that. They might pay for like a service that gives them leads or something. But what I'm saying is it's still the same, that this is a trust human business. However, what I am seeing as where the friction is coming and my thoughts on why this runway of success is like so much shorter is because of technology. And specifically, the fact that for about 10 years now, let's call it 8 years, we've been conditioned by technology to expect hyper specificity and hyper personalization. So, like, your Netflix queue looks different than my Netflix queue. I
Mhm.
doubt the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders is in your Netflix queue. I love that
It's
show.
not.
Right. Like, your Instagram looks different than my Instagram. And so, but for 8 years, we've been conditioned to only see things that are relevant to us. And there's been this also increasing, maybe like turn off with interruption based outreach. So I think so. I'm working with an advisor who's built his business from cold calling, and we're kind of like revamping the whole thing because it's been very, very like high top of funnel, but very low bottom of funnel. So we're tweaking a bunch of things. But so the trends being it's hyper personalized. We don't like interruption based outreach because everything's hyper personalized. And we even have technology now, like the new iOS software, like we can screen calls and we don't need to accept them. So I think those things have made the some of the tactics a bit hard to build the business at the scale and the pace that we want to build the business. So that's why I'm seeing an opportunity for advisors who niche down. And I sometimes you might be able to do this from the beginning. I've heard mixed things and I've heard mixed things from like leaders versus advisors themselves. Sometimes advisors come and they say, "Oh, I want to niche right off the bat." I hear leaders saying, "I think they need to build the business in the more traditional sense first, then they can niche." So I don't really have an opinion there. But what I'm saying is niching allows this kind of new opportunity where if you're the obvious choice for a prospect who gets referred to you, because referrals are still the main thing, or they find you organically and you basically add this new tactic in of marketing, of like content marketing and showing your expertise and showing your face online and really making your presence match the level of professional you are, and making that really specific and in language that the client and the prospect can understand and they feel seen. That really helps the conversion. And I'm seeing that with some of the advisors I'm coaching where they're niching. They're actually cold prospecting without referrals to people in their niche, and they're getting those people on their calendar. And so I want to get your feedback on that. Like with so yes, the business is still the same. The I agree and believe what everything you're saying. The tactics are still the same. You need to have the activity. You need to be always kind of pushing forward for that. But I do think there are things that are different. So can you speak to some of that?
Yeah, I love where you're going. So, one of my favorite financial professionals out there right now is a guy named Mondo Salavanti. Mondo is runs his own brand, is partnered with a larger broker dealer currently, as of this recording, and Mondo on LinkedIn has probably 50,000 plus followers as of last week. So he might be at 55,000 followers.
Right.
And all of his posting for years, I mean, I don't know how many consecutive days he's posted. It's probably well into the 1,500 or 2,000 days now. His posting is all about who his target market niched down client is. So he'll post things about the value that he's brought to $500,000 income earners who work in the technology space, top performing sales people in ABC industry. So when people see his posts come through their feed, the language that he's posting is he gets me. He understands me. That's exactly what I need. I wonder if he would be open to meeting with me. And that's exactly it. So then when you marry the two, that attorney in Greenville that went to Clemson, if when you introduce me to Sarah, in that introductory message, you just send a link to whatever technology platform I most engage on. Let's just say it's a LinkedIn profile. If you include the link to my profile, and if Sarah clicks on it, probably will if she has any curiosity of like, what the heck is this
She will.
about?
Yeah.
And would see, oh, Dave works with attorneys and he was at the Clemson game. And oh my gosh, he's friends with Coach Sweeney. Whoa, he was hanging out with Cade Klubnik. Wait a second, Sammy Brown and him are tight. Now, Sammy and I aren't tight as of yet, but Sammy's going to crush it for us this season. She then sees Clemson. Oh, wait, he's been with partners at law firms here in the area. Now, this is all I'm making up because I work with Fortune 1000
But
financial
you can
services execs.
see that digitally.
And then they
Yeah.
think, I'm at least more open to the conversation because I think it'll probably be valuable because that's exactly what I was just, how in the world does he know that I'm even thinking that that's a challenge? So yes, I think the fear, and we've talked about this in our previous calls where we've spent time getting to know each other's businesses. People fear, I want to honor the integrity and the history of what has contributed to the success of our business. And We know that there's a new methodology of how we do prospecting and promotion. So it's how do we know what math works for us now? Do we still use the one card system, which many companies use the one card system, but it was developed within Northwestern Mutual with Al Granum. Like, does 10-5-3-1, is that still relevant? If we get 10 referrals, can we expect one client to come from that? Well, what if we get 10 introductions? Could we get 3 clients from that? And I would just say when we look at the history of any system, nowadays, you use it as a framework, right? You think, what was the big message? The big message is you build relationships, you have meetings, some percentage of those people work with you. I think the main point advisors need to understand is you've got to know what are your numbers. We should be striving for 10, 10, 10, 10. If I get 10 referrals to
That'd be
regional,
nice.
and it's possible, right? Like, think about that. The empires of the future are the empires of the mind. Winston Churchill said that. Like, if you can, I hate being the person that says if you can dream it, you can achieve it. But no, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you first vividly imagine in your mind what would be ideal, we create our ideal. Because if I can imagine 10 referrals and all 10 of them agreeing to meet with me, if I can wrap my mind around, yes, that would be amazing and I want it, I then can follow that desire with massive action and put the steps in place to create that outcome. And I tell people all the time, I don't think we're ever going to be 10, 10, 10, 10. Not because we can't develop our skill set, but because you're going to call on somebody at some point and they're working with an advisor that you're friends with or that you know, and you're going to back out gracefully. But it doesn't have to be 10-3-1 anymore. It could be 10-9-8-6 or
Yeah.
10-8-6-4. And
Yeah.
you're the one that's in control of knowing your math and driving those ratios upward.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's what both you and I are kind of obsessed about, is helping
Yeah.
people influence that.
Every I think you and I would be a dream combo of like helping advisors with the everything you're doing and then adding in and peppering in what I'm helping them with to make that activity more sticky.
Yeah.
And what I see the journey being, and I invite you to comment in on this too, like you need that really, really hard work in the beginning to build those habits. And like I don't even think you need a niche in the beginning because you need to find your niche as you go. Unless you're like a really established career changer coming from, a 10+ year career and you have the connections, like you should run with that niche. But for the most part, I think people do need to start out however all of us started out. And then they get to like this point where I think there's almost diminishing returns of like what they can do and who they want to get in front of. And I always hear advisors telling me like I just want more and better clients. And honestly, like I hear that at the 5-year mark, I hear that at the 10-year mark. I
That's
hear
what I
that.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's same. And I think that like what got them to here where they are is not going to get them the more and better clients because they can't do more. They're kind of like maxed out. And so they need just sharper.
Yeah.
And then what happens, and I know advisors like this too, who are like the 15-year in, they might have the ensemble, they have the practice. They don't have a referral problem. They're getting the referrals. But they're asking themselves, like, are these the ideal clients we want to work with? And I have a lot of referrals, and do I take them all? And they want to go somewhere different, but they can't really because they have all of these clients and these referrals to service. So that's like the typical journey of what I've seen and where you can add in intentional niching and marketing, you can start to be a little bit more specific about who you're bringing onto your business.
Absolutely. 2 things came to my mind as you were sharing all that. So one is even early in the career, because we grow rich within our niche. I think Tom Hegna was the first person that I heard say that. He's a big time annuity leader in our industry.
You're
And
full of so many good quotes,
he's,
Dave.
well, and there's just people that have said them to me, and I'm like, that's gold. And you write it down and then you say
Right.
it, and it sort of becomes you. So early in your career, you can have a niche, but it can really be a really large group of people. So when I was 22, starting my career, my niche was I wanted to work with married couples that had kids. I wanted to work with single professionals that were knocking the cover off the ball, whatever that meant to whoever I was asking. And I wanted to work with business owners in upstate New York because that's where was home for me and my parents were business owners. So those were 3 like niche markets, but there's a lot of people that fall under that umbrella. And then over time, it can really be honed in that I want to work with married couples with children between 5 and 13 with combined household revenue of 500 who work in sales or law or medicine or whatever it is. So that would be one thought in the niching early on is you can niche, but keep it broad. The second is when you were talking about that 15-year advisor who might not have the quantity problem or the need for more referrals because they have the introductions. Their biggest challenge, I think, right now, and that's like I'm 19 years in the industry at this point, so all my good friends are kind of about my same stage, and I've got friends in all stages, but their challenge is an infrastructure challenge. It's they brought clients in that they love and they want to continue to provide for and serve, but their time is not best spent with that client. I was on a call yesterday with
Yeah,
a very,
so
very
true.
good friend in New York. This friend is the first advisor in their company to charge over $1 million in a year of planning fees. Awesome advisor. Number of, I don't know, $5-6 million of revenue. They make that public. They share that. $2 million of insurance premium a year, unbelievable, GPC or GDC, whatever your company calls it, and unbelievable advisor. And that advisor, when he talks about his challenge, and it's a simple challenge, it's Dave, I need to spend my best time with the right people. And I care about all people. So I had to create the team around me so my lead advisors can serve my Bs or my Cs and I can be with the As. It's not saying somebody is worth a certain amount at a human level based on their income or premium or but time is finite. I can only spend time with so many people. So you got to build that team, either giving away clients or hiring a junior advisor that can serve them. And sometimes it is, let me sell off a portion of my business and somebody, your C client is
That
going
will
to be a
be
big plus for
someone's
somebody.
great client. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you're probably as the top advisor not asking them for referrals, but the referrals that they would be willing to give would be a life changer for a young advisor out there. So yeah, I think you're totally right.
Yeah. That's the classic problem for someone who is established. They have those different problems. I've seen that as well.
The other thing that's the challenge this is the biggest one I really think with those people is they compare themselves. Comparison's the thief of joy, right? Like you
Tell
can
me more.
well, like, I compare myself and I wish I didn't, and I catch myself, but like I've got good friends that are far more financially successful than I am. And I do well. Like I'm happy, I'm ecstatic. I do great, I think, but they do better money-wise. But they also are on the road 150 days a year. Or they're working 250 days a year, which that's great to work 250 days a year. But I would rather in the summer, like it's 2026, on my calendar, if I showed you my calendar, I have 26 plus in 2026. What that means is during normal business hours in the summer, I'm going to take 26 half days, and it's 26 plus, so there's more than 26 half days. And on my calendar, it is shaded our family color or our fun color, which is
I
orange.
love it.
That's
Yeah.
and it says
Yeah.
Jennifer, Charlie, Chaz, and Cameron. And I swim in the pool with the kids, or
Mhm.
we watch a movie at 2 p.m. because that's my priority. So could I work more and make a lot more? Apps everybody could. That's just a vicious cycle. And if that's what you want, do it. But you know what? Success to me and my Jordan Montgomery is a friend that I think very highly of and is an like one of the best performance coaches out there. Everybody in the world, I think, needs to know Jordan. They need to buy The Art of Encouragement, his book. They need to follow him. He's awesome. Jordan Montgomery's Jordan says, I want to be a hero in my home first. And I love
Yes.
it because that's the people that are going with me the rest of my life. So, and I love that. So yeah, like whatever success, it's peace of mind. That's a direct result of self-satisfaction, knowing you're doing the best that you can to become the best you're capable of becoming.
I love that so much. I'm actually doing I've done intentional work around that ever since I left my full-time career. I've had to redefine success because I didn't realize it, but like my definition of success was already defined for me and I just had to like show up and do it. And for the first time in my life, I have my own blank page of like, what does Emily want? And so I find myself doing a lot of work around that in this current season. And I definitely agree with you. I actually canceled my meetings this afternoon so I could take my 3-year-old to Toy Story 5. It's his
Yes.
first movie. And I'm like, you know what? That conversation can wait. I am taking my kid to the movie.
How special is that? And this is your 3-year-old. It's both a
Yeah.
son.
Yes, 2
Fir
boys.
First movie ever.
Ever. Yes.
That's so special. Good for you. That's
I
awesome.
know.
We're
We're
going
so
to Dude
excited.
Perfect tonight. Dude Perfect is in Greenville tonight.
That's so awesome. I don't follow them, but I know who that is kind of
Yeah,
roughly. Okay, this is such a fantastic conversation, Dave. I wish we could keep going, but let's wrap up. Are you down to do a few minutes of lightning round questions with me?
absolutely. Happy to.
Okay, great. So, what is some business and leadership advice that you do not subscribe to?
Business and leadership advice that I do not subscribe to. Man, that's a great question. So I would say work life balance. People talk about work life balance, and work life balance is a myth. It's not possible. Now, stick with me. I think when people say they want work life balance, they're really saying, I want to experience engagement and fulfillment in all areas of my life. But balance, by definition, is equal weight, equal measurement. When you had your sons, pretty safe to say the week that you had your son, you were a little focused more on your family than you were on fitness or career, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
there is purposeful imbalance, but we
Ooh,
can
yeah.
still experience a rhythm in our life or a blend in our life. So work-life balance is a myth, but you can pursue fulfillment in all areas of your life. And I call that the blended life. There's a whole separate conversation around that, but yeah.
Yeah, the word coming to my mind is harmony.
Yes,
Yeah.
work-life harmony. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. What is one thing that managing partners should stop doing immediately?
Man, I love managing partners. I think managing partners, not that they should stop, but they should really slow down on making decisions themselves about things that affect their teams and get the team to decide. There's so much ease of saying, yep, let's do it. And that is leadership. But when you say, let's do it, and there's not consensus with the team, there's less ownership, and it probably doesn't have as large of an outcome of a positive contribution to the firm. So get team buy-in and consensus. Yeah.
Okay, very important question. Clemson or the Mets, which fan base has caused you more heartache over the years?
The Mets are sucking right now. I hate freaking Mets. Today, I hate them. But I said to one of my buddies yesterday, I said, I hope that the second half of this season is one of those miracle comeback stories. And I
Huh?
still think we're going to win the World Series, but we're like 15 and a half games out of first place right now. We're in last place early. So the Mets by far, I hate them. I love them and I hate them.
Crazier things have happened. I'm not a baseball girly, but I always have friends who like, because I love all sports and like I always tune into World Series and World Cups like finals.
Yeah.
And I always have friends who I think of when it's their team. So you're gonna be my Mets guy now. So I'll
Yeah.
think of
Cool.
you.
Yeah. Cool. Most people do when it comes to the Mets. Yeah.
Do you have an NFL team?
Yeah, I would say I'm a Dolphins fan because one of my very good buddies is the chaplain at the Dolphins. We lived in South Florida
Cool.
for 15 years. They cause a lot of heartache, but I still cheer for him.
Yeah. I like Tyreek Hill because I'm a Chiefs girly and a Broncos girl. But
He was with the Dolphins for a little bit. I also would say I'm going to cheer for the Jets because Cade Klubnik was our quarterback at Clemson, and he's with the Jets. So I'm a Cade fan. But
yeah,
if the Jets play the Dolphins, I'll cheer for the Dolphins.
fair, fair.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your family in just a couple of minutes. Like, what does life look like with you and your kids and your wife right now?
It's beautiful. It's Jennifer and I've been married 16 and a half years. I call her my CEO, my chief encouragement officer.
Yeah.
I wish everybody in my world knew my Jennifer because she's amazing. That said, Jennifer is a homebody. Like Jennifer does not want to meet all my clients.
She doesn't want to come to the networking events with you.
And what's so cool, when we moved from South Florida to Greenville, we did it because we just wanted to be rural. We were,
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale is, bumping. It's like there's so many people and it's awesome, but we wanted space. So like there's a pasture with cows in it next to my house now, and
That's a dream.
home is slow and
Yeah.
home is like together, and our family of 5 is good. So, we spend a lot of time. We kind of homestead. We've got 7 chickens. We've got 2 little bunnies, a guinea pig, a mini golden doodle, and 10 goldfish. So we got 21 animals right now.
Oh
And
my gosh.
Yeah, so we take care of the homestead and have fun with that. We homeschool during the school year, so the kids are in the house. My office is a separate building on our property that we converted to an office. So I leave the house and go to work and then go home.
Love.
And then we love getting out on the boat on Lake Jacassie is our spot. We don't own a boat. I choose to rent boats. I do not want to own a boat anymore. I always wanted to, but I don't anymore. And then we do a lot of getaways with some of our closest friends. Like we're going to Dollywood next week with my two best friends. We're going to the Outer Banks in a few weeks with some of our best friends from Florida. So little getaways where we create experiences. I'm all about leverage the expenses of the business to create the experiences of the family. I can't tell you how much free experience from points that we get as a Resseguie family because of all the expenses of the company. It's awesome.
Well, that's a really good tip. Well, your life sounds so beautiful and full. And it sounds like you have such a good partner behind you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The best, in my opinion.
That's so good. Who is someone else I should have on the show?
Ross Kimball,
Okay.
100%. Ross Kimball is the only person I believe in the history of Saturday Night Live to be contracted by SNL but never be in a skit on SNL. He's a client of mine. I'm a client of his. He owns Show Up Better, which is a communications company. He helps executives and advisors communicate better, whether it's one-on-one or in a group setting or in a main stage presence. He's been in movies with like Owen Wilson and Kristen Wiig and Zach Galifianakis. He was on Jury Duty. If you ever watched Jury Duty, he is one
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
funniest people I know and one of the best people I know. He's in Atlanta. Everybody needs to know Ross Kimball.
Wow. Okay.
I and I
Would
w
love to meet him.
I am absolutely happy to connect you to Ross, and I think he would be very open to being on this. He's in the new Scooby-Doo that's coming out. So I will tell you, the next 3 months are gonna he's
A little
filled.
wild.
So
Yeah.
he might be like a fall guest for you, but
That's great.
I'm happy
I
to make that
am needing
connection.
those.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
happy
So
to make that.
fun. Thanks. And I'll make your intro to Growth Suite.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, would love to connect with them.
Dave, this has been amazing. So, everyone, I will link your LinkedIn in the show notes. I'll link your website. Is there any other places that people should go to connect with you?
LinkedIn is the absolute best because you'll see my email address on there. I respond to my in-mails. So if somebody sends me a message, just say Emily podcast, and I will get back to you in a timely manner. I can't promise how fast, but I'll reach back out.
You're on it. You've been on it when we've connected over LinkedIn. But yeah, this has been such a good conversation. I definitely have a lot of takeaways. I'm grateful for you and your work and just grateful that Kurt connected us. So thanks for
Yeah,
your time today.
I feel the exact same. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. If this conversation resonated with you or you learned something new, make sure you follow the podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. And do me a favor, like and subscribe and share this episode with a friend. Comment on anything that you want to see or hear more of in the future as well. You can also stay connected by subscribing to the Wonder Weekly newsletter and connect with me, Emily, on LinkedIn at Emily Armstrong or Instagram, Emily Armstrong 2.0 for more insights on building modern client service firms. Until next time, keep on adapting, modernizing, and growing beyond referrals.